Now, from Indiana's most watched news station.
The heavy rain in central Indiana making roads impassable and leaving a big mess for a lot of people to clean up tonight.
We have crews spread out across the area tonight to bring you live team coverage.
High water forced first responders to rescue stranded drivers. Their message for anyone on the roads tonight.
A massive tree crashes right through a man's home. He was sitting right on the other side of that sliding door. Hear from him tonight.
From flood to freeze, a cold blast roaring into central Indiana overnight. The temperatures are taking a dive. I'll show you how cold it's going to get and when more snow could move in coming up.
And those dropping temperatures mean all that water on the roadway could freeze. We're tracking what crews are doing tonight to keep you safe. Fox 59 News at 10 starts right now.
And right now, grab the electric blanket. Temperatures are dropping and dropping fast. The wind and cold are hitting us hard. Listen to this. The wind chill making it feel even colder, and you can expect sub-zero wind chills in the morning.
Many central Indiana communities are dealing with flooding tonight as well, and all that water combined with these colder temperatures means the potential for freezing and slick roads overnight. The Weather Authority is tracking all of it tonight. Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Dan Spieler.
And I'm Fanshin Stinger. There is a lot happening all over central Indiana. Fox 59, of course, is your school closing authority. We are already getting delays and cancellations for tomorrow. As always, you can see those scrolling at the bottom of your screen.
Yeah, we have team coverage of the weather we got today and what is coming next. Let's start with Weather Authority Chief Meteorologist Brian Wilkes. Brian?
Yeah, the temperatures have dropped fast. In fact, when you calculate the number, we were hitting the freezing mark here at about 8:15. We're down to 30 degrees. That's a drop of 31 degrees since 4 o'clock, and it feels 45 degrees colder with those winds that are whipping across all of central Indiana. We've had a wind gust of 46 in Indianapolis, as high as 48 in Frankfort, and the rain is long gone. Across the area, those cameras are shaking, the winds are blowing in and bringing in extremely cold air. The temperatures are dropping right now at 30 degrees in Indianapolis. The wind is west at 26 miles per hour. The rainfall topping 5 inches in Edinburgh, approaching 5.5 inches in Bloomington, created some very high water. 2-day rainfall totals quite impressive through south central Indiana, and the water will remain high there for the rest of the night. It's this blast of colder air that has pushed the rain off to the east, and now snow showers are chasing the cold out of Illinois and headed into central Indiana. The temperatures will continue to drop tonight. We're at 30 degrees. The wind chill has now dropped to 16. It's in the single digits right now in Lafayette, and that number will continue to lower, likely to go to as much as 5 to 10 degrees below zero by Friday morning. It will feel a lot more like February by daybreak. The cold blast is underway, and the chill will bring some snow chances, not only tonight, but before the weekend is over with. We'll track when we could see some of that snow sticking coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Brian, thank you. We'll see you soon. Several Indiana counties under travel watches and advisories tonight. The ones in yellow under advisories, including Morgan, Monroe, Brown, Bartholomew counties, and the ones in orange are under watches tonight, including Rush, Owen, and Greene counties. Certainly people want to be careful if they're out there on the roads at all overnight or tomorrow morning.
Absolutely, Dan. We are actually expecting water to freeze, making for very slick conditions in the morning. Road crews are already out there getting ready tonight. Fox 59's Melissa Crash is in drive cam for us right now. And Melissa, you talked to DPW and NDOT. What are they telling you tonight?
Yes, like you said, I did speak with both of them, and they're telling people the thing we've all heard before: turn around, don't drown when you come upon those high amounts of water. But later tonight, they're going to be telling people to slow down because that water is going to freeze, like Brian mentioned. I'm going to turn around our drive cam now so you can see what we're noticing. We're driving on 79th Street by Hoover Road. You'll notice not a lot of water in this area. Now, on the side of the roads, there is some. So if that freezes overnight, that'll be potential black ice for the morning commute. Now, we've seen many reports of covered roads due to all of that rain today, which is going to be an issue for traveling as the hours go on. I spoke with both DPW and NDOT on the phone this evening, and they told me drivers be ready to just take it slow tomorrow. Roads were not able to be pre-treated because of all that rain we had today, so crews are heading out tonight to begin monitoring conditions. NDOT has brought in extra crews to help, and DPW will have about 80 salt trucks out tonight. Both tell me, just remember, if you see their trucks out, to give them room to treat those roads, because again, they're going to have their hands full. Not only have they been pre-treating these roads to make sure it's not slick, they got all those potholes to worry about too, so just be safe out there. Reporting on the northwest side, I'm Melissa Crash. Back to you.
All right, Melissa, be careful out there. Here's more news that works for your safety. Indy Snow Force viewer, it will be activated at 11 o'clock tonight. With this, you will be able to track road conditions as the roads are treated, and you can do that in real time.
I'm glad I wasn't injured and nobody else was here to get injured. The rest we can take care of.
A real close call for this 70-year-old man. He was at home in Bloomington today when a tree came smashing through his house. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt, but look at this. Now he's got a huge mess to clean up.
Yeah, you see that big tree. It's really remarkable. Fox 59's Lindsay Eaton shows us why he says tonight a shower saved his life. Lindsay?
I couldn't believe it.
Underneath this massive tree is where a 70-year-old Bloomington man calls home.
And all of a sudden, the whole house just shook. And then I could feel the vibrations and everything just crashed. And I didn't know what it was. I thought it was a gas explosion or something.
A ripped-off roof and a smashed-in porch. Regis says the damage inside is even scarier.
I come down the hallway and walked into the living room, and here's this massive tree in the living room. I look at my dining kitchen area. Cabinets are all knocked down.
The heavy rains and wind came through around 1:30 this afternoon. Minutes before that, Regis was in his dining room, the same spot where this tree landed.
If I hadn't been out of there, where I was sitting, the cabinets and that would have had me, plus the spray of glass would have caught me. Both of them would have. So like I said, the Lord said, take that shower. So I did.
I'm going to show you exactly how big of a tree this is. Just to give you an idea, I'm standing right in the middle of where it was uprooted, and I'm 5'1". Right here, this is a 12-foot ladder. If you look right behind me, you can see exactly where this tree came smashing through the home.
I'm going, oh my God, what happened?
His first call was to 911, and the second call was to his insurance company. Crews are already cleaning up.
All that's damaged is the house, and that can be fixed.
Regis was the only one home at the time, and he wasn't hurt at all. He was able to walk right out of his back door. He now has a mud pit and a big mess, but he realizes he's extremely lucky.
Where I was sitting, it would have taken me out.
In Bloomington, Lindsay Eaton, Fox 59 News.
Wow. Well, Regis, we are so glad you're okay tonight, and it is going to be a while before he can actually stay in his home again. The Red Cross and other agencies are assisting him tonight. Dan?
Well, we are still worried about the strong winds at this hour. Earlier today, a big mess in a number of places. High winds blowing over 3 stories of scaffolding. You see this mess right here falling on top of a car. This happened on North Alabama Street around 5 o'clock. The mother and the little girl in that car, thankfully, were not hurt, as you look at some other pictures there of the damage.
Wow, incredible. Well, 20 people who live at the Green Tree Senior Living Center in Columbus, they are actually staying with family tonight, and here's why. You see all that water there? That water inching closer and closer to the property. A retention pond actually overflowed here. No water got inside, thankfully, but firefighters did request that evacuation as a precaution. To Ellettsville now, where flooding made roads impassable today. These roads look more like rivers. The water started to recede, and thankfully tonight we can tell you damage appears to be minimal. Water pooled on roads, closing about a half dozen roads earlier today. One business was dealing with 2 feet of water. They say this happens every year.
They call it the 100-year flood. Of course, it's happened a couple times since I've been here. So we're good for a couple hundred years, right?
Authorities did have to rescue at least 2 people from floodwaters in that area.
And right now, crews in Johnson County are concerned about high water and any people out driving in the dark tonight.
Yeah, there are still a lot of roads that are closed this evening. Fox 59's Haley Bull is actually live there right now.
Yeah, Haley, how are things looking this evening?
Yeah, Dan Fanchon, the water is thankfully receding in some spots, but other roads like this one right here are still closed. All day, rescuers have been closing those streets and helping drivers out of the water.
911. Yeah, I'm stuck in the middle of a flood.
The rain fell, the water rose, and some drivers
Oh my God, the car's rolling.
got stuck in the floodwater in Johnson County.
Water's starting to come to the bottom.
This is one 911 call from a rescue on County Road 225 West.
The car was out in the middle of a decent sized amount of moving water, and there was 3 occupants on the roof of the vehicle.
Trafalgar Fire Chief Mark Dunn says all 3 people inside were on top of the vehicle and okay when they got to the scene. Then another driver did something they don't recommend.
The truck was already there. They entered the water and slowly pushed the vehicle.
Across the county, the sheriff's office says there were at least 4 calls for cars in the water where people thankfully got out okay, like this one. A driver on Morgantown Road hit water rushing over it, causing him to go off of it, through a yard, and into a creek.
He was able to exit the vehicles through his sunroof before the water got higher than the vehicle.
High water is why Major Andy Fisher says they had to close multiple roads, some at spots that don't typically flood.
Yeah, we've had a lot of calls reference it. The problem is with all the snowfall, the ground is so wet that with the amount of rain that we've had, we can't keep up with it.
And they're not alone. This is a scene in Monroe County where flooding hit. In Putnam County, first responders dealt with rising water. And this is in Bartholomew County. So for anyone traveling out here,
just please drive with caution. Be careful.
Now into the morning, the sheriff's office says they are concerned with those dropping temperatures and the wet roads turning into icy roads. I can tell you it's already getting really windy and cold out here. They also remind you, if you see warning signs on the road, like this one, to listen to them. We have already seen a few drivers ignore this one tonight, so be sure to pay attention to those. For now, reporting live in Johnson County, Haley Poole, FOX59 News.
Haley, thanks. You can hear the wind out there, too. There was a tornado warning today in part of our area, including in that area, IU in Bloomington. Just look at the heavy rain they got there today, making some roads impassable, covering sidewalks in some places along campus. Look at that bridge with water streaming over it as well. Also in Bloomington, people living on Pinewood Drive and Pinewood Lane saw high water in their neighborhood. Homes were flooded. One woman we talked to just moved in 3 weeks ago. Now her home is soaked with water.
My landlord said he'd owned this place since the 70s and he'd never heard of it getting up in the house before. I said, well, when you turn the corner, when you come off Walnut, I said, you can't see nothing but water.
Most of the water has receded tonight, but people in that area still have a lot of cleanup to do. Fanchon.
And Dan, Indianapolis also dealing with its share of flooding today. This is high water actually on I-65 near the South Split this morning. A storm drain clogged with garbage combined with heavy rain. Well, that caused flooding on the highway. DPW worked several areas just like this one today, nearly 20 of them, in fact. This shows water receding in one of those places. This is near 37th, that is, and North Richard Avenue. If you notice a high water sign, turn around. Do not try and drive through that high water. It is simply too dangerous.
Well, many of you sent us your flooding pictures and videos, and we're very thankful for those of you who did go out very carefully, of course, to take some of these pictures. Della and Glenn Atkins sent us this video of 14th Street in Franklin. You see all that water there, water pooling along the roadway. Jess Glasscock sent us pictures from Smithville in Monroe County. You see it here, covering their backyard, muddy water pooling on the grass. And also temperatures tonight, as we said, they're about to drop. And so that means a lot of that water could be freezing. You can track those falling temperatures and the hour-by-hour forecast wherever you are, day or night, by downloading our free Weather Authority app.
It's very tragic when we lose one of our family, and we consider our students our family.
A school district and community absolutely heartbroken tonight, and this is why. A 9-year-old boy in Muncie died in this house fire this morning, and tonight we are now finding out there were likely no working smoke detectors in that home. They also say the boy was home alone at the time of the fire. That fire starting around 4 o'clock this morning. Police say the boy's mother dropped his dad off at work. She then went to her mother's house to do laundry and fell asleep. When she went home, she found the fire department at her house. Neighbors who knew the family are still in shock this evening.
He was just a very sweet child, I think, that would just do whatever you asked him to do.
Our hearts going out to that family, that community. Investigators believe the fire started in the kitchen. Police do not think the parents will be charged in this case. Well, we told you about other deadly fires involving young Hoosiers recently in homes that did not have smoke detectors. The Indiana Department of Homeland Security is now working to prevent any more tragedies like this. They are planning to use a $500,000 grant to buy 10,000 smoke alarms over the next 2 years. This spring, they will begin distributing those alarms across the state at no cost.
Right now, the search is on for the person who hit and killed a man near Castleton Square Mall this morning. IMPD found a man unresponsive in a ditch on 82nd Street just after 7:30 today. Right now, police don't have a description of the driver or the car that hit him. People in the area are urging drivers to be extra careful on busy streets. Well, everyone is expected to be okay after this crash involving a school bus this afternoon. It happened at 465 and Rockville Road. A Center Grove school bus and a car were involved in that crash. 2 children and the bus driver were not hurt, but the driver of the car suffered minor injuries and had to go to the hospital.
New developments tonight. The Brown County School Board just voted to terminate a track coach who posted a picture of himself wearing blackface.
We have seen controversies like this around the country and here at home this week as well. Tonight, that coach actually turned down an offer that would have eventually let him return. Our Nick McGill has the latest. Nick?
Nearly every community member who spoke at tonight's school board meeting came to the defense of Coach Richard Gist. They asked the school board to spare his job. They voted not to.
I recognize that many of our audience are here because of the issue regarding Mr. Richard Gist.
It was the elephant in the room and the reason so many in the community showed up.
He's not a racist. That I can say without 100%.
That you have a good person here and an educator, and I think that losing him as an asset is a big mistake.
And as supporters of Brown County High School assistant track coach Richard Gist pled his case, the decision by the school board.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Gist was dismissed by the Brown County superintendent last month after posting a photo of himself on social media wearing blackface. At the time, he defended the move, saying it was Halloween and he was paying homage to Bob Marley. Tonight, Gist admitted he made a mistake, but asked the board to spare his job.
I just ask that you, the board, give me an opportunity to prove to you that I am an asset of this country or this county.
The board did offer Gist a deal that would have allowed him to return to the district in the fall. It would have required him first to resign his position and take cultural sensitivity courses. He turned down that deal, saying he wasn't going to resign. In the end, the superintendent says now it's the district's job to move forward.
We're really committed to the next step, which is repairing harm through education and coming together as a community.
The board says it was disappointed that Gist turned down that deal and had no other choice than to terminate him. In Brown County, Nick McGill, Fox 59 News.
We're not here for money. We're here for reform, and the court process is a way to get it.
They survived abuse by former USA Gymnastics doctor Larry Nassar. Well, today, they got a chance to confront leaders of the Indianapolis-based organization that employed him. Today, USA Gymnastics was actually in federal court for a hearing about its decision to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Yeah, the organization's chief financial officer answered questions. Some of those questions came from the survivors themselves. As you know, former team doctor Larry Nassar abused hundreds of young athletes when he was supposed to be treating them. He's currently in prison. Indianapolis-based USA Gymnastics is facing more than 100 lawsuits from athletes who say they were abused by Nassar. Those young women are pushing for change within the organization. They hope to ask questions today about the organization's finances and other issues. They say they wanted a chance to help the sport reform and find more victims, but they're afraid the bankruptcy process could prevent all the victims from being found.
There are little girls and little boys who are still at risk because USAG hasn't even looked to see what other predators are in those files that they've been burying.
The women say they left the hearing with a lot of unanswered questions. Meantime, USA Gymnastics continues to face fallout from the Nassar scandal in other ways. They're without a permanent CEO, and the U.S. Olympic Committee is moving to revoke the organization's status as the governing body for gymnastics at the Olympic level.
Well, this is definitely a wild one. A man is accused tonight of breaking into the Bloomington home of singer-songwriter John Mellencamp. And tonight, that man is under arrest. The Murrow County Sheriff's Office says this man, 48-year-old Robert Carter, rammed an open security gate at the home. They say Carter told them he was there to arrest Mellencamp for supporting the government. Now, no one was home at the time, thankfully. Carter is now facing burglary, residential entry, and criminal trespass charges.
Well, nearly 3,000 potholes fill the streets of Indianapolis right now. You're looking at them, the red dots there on the Indy Pothole Viewer. Remember, you have a better chance to be reimbursed for pothole damage to your car if the pothole was reported to the city before you hit it. You can report potholes on city streets online through the Indy Pothole Viewer. Now, we found out last year the city received a total of 1,322 pothole claims. Just 16 of them were settled for a total payout here, as you see, of about $3,200, just shy of that amount. Meantime, potholes are also a problem on interstates. Potholes today on I-69 from Anderson to Daleville are so bad right now, the state police issued a warning about them today. They're recommending everyone drive 45 miles an hour on that stretch of road through Sunday. Potholes are actually bursting tires in that area, and crews are working overnight to try and repair both lanes of the interstate. Meantime, a sinkhole that caused lane closures on Meridian Street this week has now been fixed. Citizens Energy repaired structural failures to the 110-year-old sewer and manhole near 41st Street. The road's back open tonight. The repairs finished a day earlier than expected.
Well, wait until you see not who, but what stopped action on the Pacers court tonight.
Plus, a big surprise for a young Hoosier fighting cancer. The special room makeover he just received.
And temperatures are dropping. The Weather Authority told us that roads could get very slick. We are monitoring road conditions throughout the evening. Brian has your full Weather Authority forecast still to come. Here just seconds before 10:30, checking tonight's top stories. We are tracking road conditions right now as temperatures continue to drop tonight. This is a live look at I-70 through the FOX59 drive cam. There is a lot of water on roads in some areas in many of your neighborhoods from earlier today, so freezing is definitely a possibility. If you do have to go out, please be careful. DPW and NDOT says drivers should prepare to take it slow tomorrow morning as well. They were not able to pre-treat roads because of all the rain today. Both have crews out working overnight.
Well, today the weather caused a tree to crash into a 70-year-old man's home in Bloomington. A huge tree, as you see here. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt, but now he's got a huge mess to clean up. The roof was ripped off. His porch smashed in. The tree crashed right into his dining room. He says that's where he would have been if he hadn't decided to get up and take a shower right when it happened.
Wow. Well, crews in Johnson County, they are also very concerned tonight about the high water and a lot of people who will be traveling in the dark. There are still many roads that are closed because of this water. All day, rescuers have been helping people out of the flood waters across the county. The sheriff's office says there were at least 4 calls for cars trapped in the water. Thankfully, through all of this today, everyone got out okay.
Yeah, it's been quite a day. The weather has been a mess. We've seen so much rain, so many roads flooded, and now tonight the temperature's getting
We're
much
not out
colder.
of the woods
No,
yet.
not
The
at
wind
all.
is blowing in areas that have had high water, and we're seeing this on some of the social media outlets. Water up to your driveway where it's not typically there. It's freezing.
Yeah.
There is so much cold air pouring in so quickly that we're not evaporating it. It is receding. We're out of all the flood advisories for now. There will be high water along creeks, streams, and rivers for weeks, but the water that came down and may be creating a pond in your backyard will be an ice rink in the morning. Look at the way the winds are whipping the flags here over Hamilton County tonight. This is the view from Fisher's at Alderman Imports, where the wind gusts remain strong at this hour, have peaked at over 45 miles per hour at Muncie. Indianapolis had a 46-mile-an-hour gust. Eagle Creek, Frankfort at 48. And we're continuing to watch this incredible temperature drop that feels as if it's about 50 degrees colder than it was since 4 o'clock when our thermometer reached 61 degrees out at the airport. We've got cloudy skies to partly cloudy skies. They're going to cloud over again for a time tonight as snow showers are chasing out of Illinois into Indiana and racing east behind this front that has passed and has driven the temperature down into the 20s. We had a lot of rain over the last 2 days. Included in this batch was 4 to 5 inch totals from Seymour to Columbus to Owen County to Edinburgh down in Johnson County. Bloomington comes in at 5.49 inches. Indianapolis over 2 inches, nearly 2.5 inches of rainfall over the last 2 days, and most of the heaviest rain falling in Monroe, Brown County, parts of Johnson, Bartholomew, Rush County, as much as 5 inches of rain estimated by radar. The rain is long gone. We chased that through as the front passed this afternoon, and there are the snow showers that are developing out to our west. It's possible we'll have a light coating in a few areas early tomorrow morning as we brace for these temperatures that are plunging. It's a wind chill now of 11. That's down from 61, so what it feels like is 50 degrees colder, and that wind chill will drop to as much as 5 to 10 degrees below zero by early Friday morning. The cold air is just pouring in. We held it in check for a while. We were on the warm side of the system that did produce some gusty winds, also produced the heavy rainfall, prompted a tornado warning in downstate Indiana. National Weather Service says that a brief tornado occurred down in Knox County, estimated winds of 75 miles per hour. That storm system continues to move east, and all of that Arctic air is ours as we enter the weekend. The temperatures are dropping. The winter advisories are up to our north. This wind advisory that's in effect across much of the state will continue into daybreak tomorrow. We will brighten up the skies. It will be considerably colder tomorrow, and brace for that. As we enter the weekend, calmer conditions settle in Friday night, but so do even colder temperatures. By Saturday morning, we wake up to clear skies and temperatures in the single digits. Before the weekend comes to an end, we start increasing the clouds on Sunday, and light snows begin to develop out across parts of Missouri and Iowa. These light snows and perhaps even a light accumulation will spread into the area by Sunday afternoon. So a real wintry turn. We were able to put up 2 60-degree days here in the last week. We've had above normal temperatures for a better part of the work week, and it ends sharply with this colder air and a cold blast that will include a temperature down to about 13 at daybreak. Some areas will be in the single digits on the thermometer, but this is the number to focus in on. That wind chill is going to sting tomorrow morning. Occasional flurries and snow showers overnight, then we're to sunny skies tomorrow and much colder with a temperature right around 20 degrees. There's the low early Saturday morning at 5 above. Light snow comes into the area Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Could be enough to stick. And then we may have a light wintry mix Monday morning. More rain Tuesday with falling temperatures, a change to snow. And we'll keep an eye on what looks to be a very stormy weather pattern developing just beyond that 7-day forecast.
All right, Brian, thank you. Special recognition tonight for heroes in the Noblesville West Middle School shooting.
I just go back to, the children were in need.
You are going to hear from 3 people who saved lives that day next.
And it's time to update some of your Apple products. Tonight, the problem the company just got fixed.
New tonight on Newspoint, Indiana teachers are focused on keeping up with state standards, and they hope a new testing system can be a helpful guide.
That's our job, is to provide high quality instruction, and we're doing that every single day.
More on the changes coming to Indiana classrooms this spring and what state leaders say is much more than just iStep 2.0. Plus, new plans for a Greenwood Park. We'll take a look at tonight at big changes ahead for the popular green space.
Temperatures are dropping tonight here in Indiana. That means all the rain we got today could soon be freezing and making the roads slick. Here's a live look through Drive Cam tonight, where we understand it's getting pretty windy out there too.
Yeah, our crew telling us they can actually feel the force of the winds tonight. Some counties are also issuing travel advisories and watches this evening. The advisories you see there, those are the areas in the yellow. They are under travel advisory if you live in any of those counties. The watches you see in orange. So please be careful if you do have to go out tonight. The Weather Authority is tracking all of this and more changes this evening.
Yeah, I certainly think it could get pretty icy in a couple of spots too. Some of the water is still ponding and sticking around. It's freezing up. The temperatures are dropping fast. When we show you live Guardian radar here, it's mainly clear, but you're watching this in real time. The snow is beginning to develop out to our west. We're looking at some snow showers, snow flurries that cross the area later tonight as these temperatures continue to drop. So there will be a period of light snow and much colder temperatures. We're at 27 degrees. The thermometer has lowered from 61. It feels like it's 50 degrees colder. Incidentally, the largest single-day temperature drop we've ever had was on March the 11th, 1972. The temperature fell from 74 degrees to 28. So it's not that uncommon to get these wild temperature springs, especially in February and March going forward. But look at where the temperature is headed. We feel that could be down to the single digits in some of the outlying areas, and by daybreak, that forecast wind chill will be down to as much as 5 to 10 degrees below zero. That's a real shock to the system, and what a week we had. We started the Sunday with 60-degree warmth. We had 61-degree temperature at 4 o'clock, and now the wind chill tomorrow morning will be bitter. Again, some slick spots are possible. We do have some delays due to the high water, and we'll see if there will be a few more icy conditions developing as we see a period of some light snow and flurries overnight. Better chance for snow will be back in by Sunday night.
All right, and make sure you do keep the Weather Authority right at your fingertips. You can track temperatures, snow chances, and so much more with our Weather Authority app. It is free in your device's app store.
I still sometimes crave a Juul, and it's really hard to say no.
15-year-old Philip Furman started using Juul in 8th grade, and he's not alone. We've been telling you research shows more and more young people are vaping. And now a new study in the BMJ Journal Tobacco Control finds e-cigarettes can be a gateway to addiction for some young users.
Yeah, once again, that young man, 15 years old, and it's now putting some of the blame on the company Juul. A Juul cartridge delivers the same amount of nicotine as a box of 20 cigarettes. While federal law bans selling these products to minors, researchers worry companies are trying to pack more nicotine into their products. The study also says Juul's 5% nicotine pods caused a nicotine arms race in the industry, quote unquote. It raised its nicotine levels, and now other companies are following suit.
There's no regulation of the amount of nicotine in electronic cigarettes. Highly concentrated nicotine solutions are potently addictive, and nicotine addiction is a very difficult addiction to break.
Juul says it is committed to preventing young people from accessing its products. Juul also says there were products on the market with 5% nicotine before it became popular. The FDA has called teen e-cigarette use an epidemic now, and today they just announced plans for legislation against retailers who sell tobacco products to minors.
Well, Apple has fixed a bug that lets FaceTime callers eavesdrop on other iPhone users. That glitch was triggered by a group FaceTime activating a person's microphone even if they hadn't answered the call. Apple turned off that feature last week, but they fixed it in the latest update of their newest iOS, which is now available to install. Well, the snowy conditions keep a lot of people indoors when the weather gets like this, but it didn't stop one woman from getting to work.
I've always thought about skiing into work.
That's right. Skiing, the reason she decided to lace up her skis instead of call in sick.
I know you're dancing at home right now. Spoiler alert, by the way, the latest competitor revealed on The Masked Singer. You're going to hear from the person behind the Raven mask next.
Well, snow caused a lot of problems in Utah this week, and you can bet a lot of people called in sick for work. But one woman, she didn't even think about doing that.
She got pretty creative. She's a nurse, and when she realized she couldn't drive or take the bus to work, well, she went with a different mode of transportation. She actually strapped on her cross-country skis. Why not get a workout in, right? It took her about an hour to ski the 2 miles to work.
It would have been easy to call in and say, gosh, I'm not needed. I wanted to get in time to make sure my nurses were doing okay. It was windy, so the snow was coming down, and you know, what a nice way to start your day.
Yeah, her co-workers say she leads by example, as you can see. She took pictures along the way and says, yeah, she'll do it again.
Not bad. Well, if you didn't watch The Masked Singer last night, you're maybe going to want to step away for a second if you've got it recorded, or mute the TV. We've got a spoiler alert as we find out more today about who is behind that Raven costume.
A lot of people didn't guess this one. It was talk show host Ricki Lake, and tonight she is talking about her experience.
It was so fun to be anonymous, to be completely... That was part of the appeal. The part of it was like, oh, I used to sing way back when, and oh, it'd be fun to stretch that muscle again. But also to do something where no hair, no makeup, you know, I'm literally in a hoodie and a visor most of the time, and then I'm in this elaborate costume, and it was just a hoot.
She said she didn't even tell her family what she was doing. The Masked Singer airs Wednesday at 9 p.m. right here on Fox 59. We now have learned who 6 Masked Singers are. There are 6 more to go. So tune in next week to see who's behind the next mask.
All right, a regular morning ends with a special delivery. Tonight, the unexpected passenger who joined the commute. Chris?
Hey, Dan, don't give away my name. I'm the masked sports cat. Okay, it's me. Hey, can IU make it 2 straight wins over ranked opponents? Coming up on News Point at 11. We'll head to Bloomington to find out. Plus, the Pacers trying to keep their win streak alive on a Hickory night at Bankers Life Fieldhouse.
Well, sometimes you don't get to plan the most important moments in your life. So true, right?
Yeah.
In fact, not many moms can plan when they'll have their babies, but this one was not expecting to have hers on a bus in Chicago.
Oh.
The parents hopped on board hoping to get to the hospital in time to deliver their newborn.
That is when the baby decided, oh no, I'm going to come right now. And there was no stopping her.
Nope.
Mom says that baby came out so fast, her husband jumped up and caught her.
Wow.
7-pound, 7-ounce Samantha. There she is, the precious little one. She and Mom are doing just fine tonight. And they get to go home tomorrow.
Hello. Welcome to the world,
Well-
right? All right, we love these stories. A military father surprised his son at a school in New York.
And he'd been deployed for 7 months, so his son was not expecting this. Their reunion was caught on camera. Watch. Air Force Technical Sergeant Calvin Rodriguez first surprised his wife and 8-year-old son. Then, as you just saw, he shocked his 15-year-old son with help from the high school principal.
And the family has big plans. Now that he's back home, they'll be in New York for the next few months. Then they plan to travel to New Zealand and Australia.
Good for them. I could
It was
watch
so
those on
touching.
repeat.
Oh,
yeah,
I love
I could.
those stories.
Over and over and
Yeah.
over.
That one brought tears. You
Great
know,
way to
just-
wrap it up.
Whether they're a 5-year-old, whether they're 15
Yep.
years old, I can
Doesn't
watch them
matter.
over and
Yeah.
over. All right, well, next tonight on News Point, heavy rains and strong winds send a massive tree into a Hoosier's home. How he was able to safely escape. Plus, we'll have the latest tonight on flooding and road conditions. And a Brown County coach loses his job after posting a photo of himself in blackface. More on the board's decision and the deal they offered him to stay on.
Arctic air hit like a wall, and the temperatures are just dropping so sharply. It now feels like it's over 50 degrees colder than it was since 4 o'clock this afternoon. I'll show you where we're going to bottom out. Some snow will move in too, and how cold it will get coming up.
Plus, state education officials are rolling out a new testing system this school year. We'll break down what students will find this spring and what's behind the changes.